Alright everyone, now we have to chuckle about the Reuters hit piece against several new tech sites, Bitchute and Odysee specifically. Big things happening with both of them, by the way. It didn't go over so well. It didn't work. I think that it backfired pretty badly. Link in the description, archive of course, to their mediocre post. They got ratioed, but they got super ratioed. So it wasn't just like more people commented than like the original post. It was also they were getting ratioed not just by yours truly, but by like half a dozen other people that responded to their post. So content creators and others clearly are not too happy about this particular piece, and it's all sorts of messed up. They're attacking multiple people, and they're insinuating that because a handful of people have what you would generally consider as edgy views, and they use these platforms, that the whole platform therefore follows that same view. The platform has an ideology beyond, hey, we platform people, and they make content. Leave us alone. Now, we were told for years if you didn't like it, censorship on big tech sites, make your own platform. And so we all did. Bitchute begins to exist. Odysee and Library. Rumble begins to exist. You get all sorts of alternative payment processing and shit like that. It happened. And now we're being told that we're still problematic just for having a platform. I think that you're going to end up seeing in the next few years, as these sites get more beefy, they gain investment, they gain more traffic, they gain larger users, etc., making exclusive content. By the way, if you are a content creator and you're using these sites and not making new tech exclusives, what the hell is wrong with you? I've been doing it every day for years now. It pays off, trust me. It's good to be one of the big dogs on the up-and-coming sites. That's the way to succeed. Don't get left behind. There's still time to get aboard, so fucking crank that shit out. Here's the thing. We saw a doppelganger of this more than a decade ago. Do you remember all the hit pieces in the middle and late 2000s against various tech sites by the legacy media? And legacy media as a term, by the way, connects to this behavior in a definitive way. They lambasted, oh my god, YouTube's full of crazy shit, and Facebook, oh my god, people are saying things that are unorthodox. Your kid will probably be a devil worshiper if they use Facebook. Oh my god, breastfeeding footage. And now they all have Facebook pages, and YouTube channels, and Twitter accounts. Every single goddamn one of them, every legacy media news outlet, every major corporation, every major bank, all of the activistic names of yesteryear that originally chastised the very existence of the internet. Paul Krugman thought that the internet would basically be the second fax machine. He's big on Twitter. I think this will happen again with new tech. They're not going to be able to beat these sites. Their hit pieces have stopped working. The chaos that was caused by the hit pieces of 5 years ago, now they just get ratioed constantly. Before, they were able to whip people up into a frenzy. Now even Reuters can't really target these sites directly. They're becoming too large and powerful. They have too many fans. And so I think at some point you'll see a Reuters page on Bitchute. I think they'll have an Odysee account. I think that they'll have Rumble. I think Reuters will be begging for money on Subscribestar maybe at some point. They'll be on Minds. They'll have a Substack article for their journos. By the way, that's already happening. It's fairly big with them. It ain't just Medium anymore and some of these other sites, WordPress or whatever. It's very, very interesting. That's number one. And number two, the reason that I even responded to it, other than, it's targeting several video hosting sites that I happen to be very big on. I'm still one of the largest users on Bitchute, and I'm well up there on Odysee. I think I'm the number 4 on Bitchute now by subscriber totals. I may be a bit lower than that. I'll have to ask Ray later. Beyond that, they used my image in their splash screen, in the big video header above their article, which is funny because they don't bother to mention me in the article, and I'm like, hey, you're robbing me of free subscribers. At this point, when you see a hit piece and you're in it, don't worry too much. Yeah, there may be a deplatforming attempt. That's clearly what this was geared towards. But they've become so poorly written and so pathetic that actually you just get free publicity. You end up with more people finding you. Reuters, of course, is promoted by Google and all the others. It's not demoted. So if you're mentioned in one of these articles, that's great for you, actually. Hell, I remember I got a boost in subscribers years ago when the Wall Street Journal name-dropped me aside Alex Jones and BP Earthwatch. That was a great article. It was very helpful. And somehow I'm still there. You know why? Because the average person big on these platforms is not making racist conspiracy theory content with graphic violence. The graphic violence part is especially funny. Reuters puts out graphic material on news pressers about war, etc. Why should independent content creators not curate the exact same material for analytic purposes? This was a big thing, by the way, back in the 2000s, back at the height of the Iraq War sort of thing going on, back at the end of the Bush administration. That sort of footage was used repeatedly for those that were anti-war. You're not allowed to do that anymore, as far as I know, on Farcebook, on Boomerbook at this point. I don't think you can do it on Twitter. Certainly can't do it on YouTube. And so you're hiding reality from people, except when it's curated by the legacy media. If you have a priority account, if you're CNN, you can go ahead and show the dead bloated babies. Perfectly fine. Because they're going to analyze it the right way, right? And our fellow billionaires will be analyzing it properly. If Styx Hexenhammer puts a picture of a bloated baby on YouTube and then says, hey, we should probably stop the war because this is causing bloated babies, and look, it's not very pretty, Styx Hexenhammer gets banned. That's the whole point. It's differential enforcement and deferential enforcement on behalf of the legacy media, big banks, big corporations, etc. These sites are a threat to them because they bypass this. And they're growing. And they've got a lot of users. And because your hit pieces aren't working anymore, the old days of like Jared Holt with Right Wing Watch managing to try to get several people banned with his hit piece, they appear to be fundamentally over. We are big on these sites, and your reach does not extend to us. We have our own sites where we're capable of having our own party. And it really is a rebirth of kind of the 2000s internet anyway, as far as like early video hosting, social media and shit. That was all built by edgy and weird people who wanted to say fuck, and they wanted to do, like they had the porn thing. Twitter doesn't have any problem with that still. It's rather funny, actually. And post edgy shit about war and stuff, political opinions, and say weird things. That is what built the internet. And now a bunch of the preppy kids have come along and used Daddy's trust fund to buy large swaths of it. So we're making our own secondary internet. And it's very, very fun. I love participating in this shit. Again, I've got six-figure audience totals now on 2 of the new tech sites. Raking it in. Subscribe is probably bigger than Patreon by now. So Substack has been skyrocketing with growth. Odysee is along for the ride too and rapidly growing. I think I'm growing faster on every platform other than the mainline ones that I used to use mainly. Well, then why the hell should I prioritize them? And Reuters, as far as the hit piece is concerned, it's just a chuckle fest. This is hilarious. You're getting ratioed left and right. Nobody's taking it seriously because you're like the boy that cried wolf. The problem is you've been rambling about the evil internet Nazi army over and over and over again, and you've gotten to the point where you've caused even like the soccer moms, they're just not receptive to it anymore, dude. They're not as afraid as before because despite being warned for a half a decade about the invisible empire rising up on Bitchute or whatever, it hasn't actually happened, and so they've gone off to worry about other things. These perpetually worried people have other things to think about, like getting nuked by the evil Russians, treason by the Trump administration, gas prices. I would think that'd be a bigger worry at this point. People have other things on their plate. The relative good times of Trump actually led to a situation where in order to stoke their outrage and their constant need for fear, their constant need for endorphins, Soccer Mom America could turn to the internet and find spooky things and spooky reports about spooky things to pass the time. These are the people that sit out on their front porch and yell at the neighbors' kids, or they go and gossip about their neighbors with their other neighbors and backstab each other all the time. They're pathetic people. But this doesn't work anymore. There are real-life things, actual things that they're scared of now. They're being distracted from your hit pieces. I hate to tell you, Reuters, but this did not go over particularly well. Thank you for using my image. I just wish you had name-dropped me. I would have enjoyed the subscriber boost. That's about all. Peace out.